maintaining a level of physicality. You got to match physicality with this team. And, we were able to find good offense eventually. And because in the beginning of the game, I thought we were fighting the game. And it was hard to get clean looks for ourselves because we were trying to do too much with the ball. But, yeah, once we figured out what we needed to do, I thought guys were really good. Rudy was spectacular tonight on both ends and on the glass. And Mike Conley, of course, too. So.
Chris, just can you give us your vantage point of the fight and just what you saw and what you think of your perception of what happened during that?
To the fight?
Yeah.
Two guys went at it and spilled over into the crowd, which was super dangerous, Then obviously it just kept escalating and escalating, mostly from their side, to be honest with you. I thought leading up to that the game was way too physical. I thought it was a little lopsided in its physicality. And I thought that, it was bound to happen. It just felt like it was coming. And, you just been in enough basketball games to kind of feel this coming is unfortunate. We knew they were a super physical team. They hit you, they hold you, all the stuff that, you want your physical teams to do. But I just thought, it had got to a point where, players were going to take matters into their own hands. And you don't ever want that. And just, there was a lot of antics alongside of it too. So, but both teams settled down and tried to play basketball after that. So.
Pablo getting ejected. Do you understand what happened there, or what led to all that?
From my understanding, he was trying to have a conversation with the referee about one of their players who's, kind of prone to these situations. So, and then their bench and JB in particular had an issue with it, and they exchanged words. And I thought we were trying to address the officials, and things just kept escalating, which I talked about. And but I didn't see anything necessarily worthy of an ejection that Pablo did. So.
Did you think that did that refocus or energize your group, or did you?
I think a little bit. I think it, kind of was a pressure release for what the game needed, or where the game was headed, not what it needed. Certainly don't want to say that it needed that, but that was like the only conclusion with the way the game was being played. So, didn't matter like how it was going to happen. It was just bound to happen.
Critical has it been for this team, from Mike and Rudy, to really be the players who they were for much of last year too, just in terms of like getting back to playing consistently good basketball?
Yes. Yeah, and just thought it was a game that, once we kind of course corrected offensively, it was a game that fell naturally into their hands, and we just had to kind of maximize what they could do. So
it's like 7th time in Mike's last 11 games that he's been a plus 17 or higher.
Right.
Just what has he meant to this group, and why do you think the play has been so good, specifically when he's on the floor?
Well, he's doing a great job of getting to the rim, making the right play. I mean, he's mixing everything right now, and I think it's, again, we've talked about many times, it just comes from his aggressive mindset. I don't think he feels like he has to be a counterbalance to what's going on out there, which I think he spent a lot of the early season trying to do, just trying to, get our offense into some sort of rhythm or shape. And now he's playing basketball the way he's always played basketball, which is comfortable and natural, and his chemistry with Rudy, and it's something we knew we had to bring back to the front of what we do. Now he and Julius have a little bit of a chemistry that's developing off ball, and those shots are just as important as the ball in his hands. So,
Chris, he was also chasing Malik.
Yeah.
All around. I mean, just what did that show, or what did that give you when he was the one that was able to get through the screens and seem to limit him?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of our best off-ball defenders, one of our best pursuit guys, just real smart, takes the right route almost all the time, plays with the right amount of physicality, closes down the space, all the things you want him to do or need him to do in that. And then he just understands, that he can't be caught over helping or in the wrong spot or baited by some action. He's kind of seen it all, has a good feel, sniffs it out. It's the matchup we, really wanted most of the game. Malik's been playing outstanding basketball this season. We know his capabilities as a shooter. We just gave him too much space.
We used to talk about how Cat had to make adjustments and totally readjust his role. And it seems like Mike kind of had to cede a lot of his half-court floor generalship. I mean, was that a process? I mean, it does seem like now maybe you're beginning to balance it where you're able to get Rudy and Mike integrated while Ant and Julius are still doing their thing. I mean, how has that process gone?
Yeah, I think it's not just Cat changed his role, as our roster changed, but he didn't need the ball in the same way that like Ant, Julius, and Mike all need the ball to be effective, or whether it be as scorers or playmakers or both. So yeah, it's taken us a little while to figure out that balance. And like I said, we knew coming down the stretch that we'd had to get Mike going, and so most of his minutes are with Rudy, as you'll see. So it's that chemistry is predates us. So
pretty much from the time you got here, you've tried to instill toughness in this organization, and sometimes with some guys that could run overboard. But just how, I guess, critical or important is, the toughness that this team sometimes displays on nights like tonight to what you're trying to build here? I
think there's toughness. It comes in many different forms: mental, physical. There's physicality. There's a hit first mentality. That's all stuff that we preach. I thought they came out, their first 2 buckets of the game were shoulder hit finish. Their first 5 buckets were layups in the paint. We talked about being the aggressor there, and they were taking it to us. And we had to change that around. So good response. And then I do like the mental toughness that went along with it tonight, because we didn't lose our mind. We were frustrated. I thought there was a lot of things out there to get frustrated about, and we didn't, whether it be situational stuff or plays that went against us, or our own play. We kind of kept grinding, and I felt like at halftime we were going to win the game.
Just to kind of follow up on that, you talked about how the team found its offense, but especially after the fight, the ferocity on the defense really seemed like it took about 3 steps up.
Yeah, I didn't really like the way we were guarding. I thought we were too far off the ball at times to start the game. Ball went where it wanted to. When it got there, they dictated what happened, and off ball too. We were just, not into the body, and guys were running clean off screens, and that was the difference. We knew we had to be better in the off ball and on the point of attack, and we just weren't. And we came alive, obviously, after the altercations, but we also came alive because we were down and getting our butt kicked. So
Julius seemed like a stabilizing force after the altercation. Obviously, that's in his play, but it also seemed like leadership, bringing the group together. How is that settled in from your perception with him, just as a leader of this group over the course of the season?
We forget sometimes what a veteran he actually is. And I think Julius's leadership has been on display in other ways, and that's his willingness to kind of accept and thrive in his new role that we need him to do. He's leading by example out there. His energy play had a huge block tonight. He's making tons of those types of plays now, and he has done for a while. So it's he's been here in the league for a long time, and it's certainly from a physical point of view, he's not backing down from anybody.